be on our way. First of all, my name is Jack Kupferman. As part of Gray Panthers, we are a founding member of the Stakeholder Group on Aging. And we have a very packed agenda today with a lot of deep experience in age-friendly cities. Now, the first component of our event today is to have the focal points or co-chairs of the Stakeholder Group on Aging give short comments so that you can better understand the context of what we're doing today. And so therefore, I'd like to start with Erica Dar. Erica, would you take it away?
Thank you, Jack, and welcome everybody. I'm Erica Dar with AARP and co-chair of the Stakeholder Group on Aging. And on behalf of all of us, welcome to the program. Thank you to Jack and Gray Panthers and the members of the SGA for organizing this side event. A little bit about the Stakeholder Group on Aging. We are a member of the major groups and other stakeholders involved in implementing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in September 2015, whose basic principle is to leave no one behind. The SGA serves as the voice of older persons at the global level, and additionally, the SGA brings together global and national networks of organizations concerned with issues of aging in all regions of the world. We currently have 17 global organizations with ECOSOC accreditation, and we participate in the HLPF by submitting our position papers annually based on the thematics of the HLPF. We organize speakers, interventions, and side events, as is evident by this one, to ensure older persons are represented at the HLPF. We have our website, which I invite you all to visit, which is it's called stakeholdergrouponaging.org. You will find all the information about our group, about our position papers, and anything else that you are interested in terms of older persons. Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Francis Zinedine, to give you a brief update as to what it is that the major groups and other stakeholders do and are tasked with in terms of implementation of the SDGs. Thank you, Jack, and over to you, Francis.
Thank you, Erica and Jack. I'm Francis Zinedine, the representative of the Stakeholder Group on Aging at the United Nations in New York. As Erica mentioned, the SGA was established in 2013 at the beginning of the drafting process of the 2030 Agenda. It was an exciting time for the founding members, though fraught with frustrations and disappointments when we tried to call attention to the concerns of older persons and also to the need for governments to take a life course approach. Working with major groups and other stakeholders, initially there were about 15 of us, but now it's up to 21 members of the major groups and other stakeholders. We managed to ensure that words like for all ages, or for all people, or for all women and girls, or irrespective of age, appear throughout the text of the SDGs, including 3 references to the magical words older persons, once in SDG 2, ending hunger, and twice in SDG 11, making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. We know that older persons are almost always categorized in the group that refers to people in vulnerable situations. At the same time, let us not forget that older persons are not only recipients of medical rehabilitation and social welfare, but are also active contributors to our families, communities, and to the economy at large. And above all else, we are human rights holders, and those rights must always be protected. We must not discriminate against our future selves. We work tirelessly with the major groups and other stakeholders coordination mechanism to ensure that the voices of all civil society, including those of older persons, are heard loud and clear. The Stakeholder Group on Aging welcomes all of you to today's event, which calls attention to leaving no one behind. Age-friendly cities for people of all ages everywhere, no matter their economic and social situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. Now, I wanted to just give an opportunity, an explanation of what we're trying to accomplish today. Our panel of presenters represents age-friendly cities, looking at it from the perspective of how this can be a framework, not just for older people, but for everyone. This comes out of course, SDG 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. Our panel has a global focus, which is from Tiago, who is the director of age-friendly environments at the World Health Organization, a local age-friendly city implementer from the mayor of Kochi, India, who has been at the forefront and effective in making sure that age-friendly cities is an integral part of that city's infrastructure. We have Dr. Chu from Taiwan, who has put together a network of age-friendly communities and cities in Taiwan. And then we also have Agnes from Kibera, which is the informal settlement in Nairobi, Kenya, who recently learned about age-friendly cities and communities and is interested in promoting that as an opportunity to do comprehensive infrastructure for that large community. If you would be so kind, we're going to start with Tiago's pre-recorded comments. Francis, would you be so kind, Emily, would you be so kind as to start the recording?
Yeah.
Dear colleagues, good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone. I will unfortunately not be able to present live today, but I'm really glad to be virtually here and share this event with so many great people, both on the panel and on the audience, working to create an age-friendly world. I am Tiago Eric de Sá. I'm the responsible officer at WHO headquarters for age-friendly environments, a portfolio that includes the coordination of the global network for age-friendly cities and communities. I would like to thank you all for your presence, and in particular, the Stakeholder Group on Aging and the Grey Panthers for leading the preparations of this side event today. Today, we actually gathered to explore the crucial links between age-friendliness and sustainable development and discuss how we can work together towards creating healthier, more equitable, and sustainable communities for all ages. We will be discussing at length why age-friendly cities and communities can be seen as a template for everyone and how it relates to SDG 11. But to do that, I would like to start my presentation highlighting some great news. We as human beings are succeeding to live more, and this is amazing. This is true for both women and men, as you can see on the first two lines in this graph, for both life expectancy at birth, but also life expectancy at age 60. At the same time, we're still not living healthier lives fully. Otherwise, we would see both red and both blue lines completely overlapping. So that is to say that we managed to add life, years to life, and it is now time for us to add life to years. And a very effective way to do that is actually by intervening in the environments we all live in. And by environment here, I'm not just talking about the physical environment, but rather all the factors in the extrinsic world, so anything that is outside your body, basically, that form the context of an individual's life. So this includes, of course, the built environment, but also the natural environment, the people and their relationships, attitudes, values, the health and social policies, the systems that support them, and the services that they implement. And an age-friendly environment is then the one that enables all people to age well in a place that is right for them, to continue to develop personally, to be included, to contribute to their communities if they wish to do so, and to enjoy independence and good health. If well planned, those age-friendly environments can benefit all community members, not just older people and their families, because they help remove the physical and the social barriers that prevent people from living better. And they also foster in that way inclusiveness. So that will certainly improve accessibility. It will help address gender inequities. It will support combating ageism, delivering health and social care services, and it will help build resilience of communities in the situation of emergencies or disasters. So in a nutshell, with the right approach and the right principles in our minds and hearts, we can create environments where everyone can age well. Now, creating age-friendly environments, as most of you know, is one of the 4 action areas of the UN Decade of Healthy Aging, and it can also help cities and countries to deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals, for instance, including Sustainable Development Goal 11. Both global agendas will also come to an end in 2030, which is another great opportunity to see how the lessons learned from one another can help shape what comes next. Now, how to create age-friendly environments then? Well, age-friendly citizen communities can be seen as a very effective way to do so. And in 2007, WHO has developed a guidance on how to develop those age-friendly citizen communities. And it recommended action in 8 domains, the ones that you can see on this flower on the slide. So these 8 domains of action and the proposed cycle to develop and sustain age-friendly citizen communities are also overlapping and aligning closely with several efforts to deliver on the SDG agenda, not just on SDG 11, but also on SDG 1, for example, no poverty, or SDG 3 on good health and well-being. Throughout the years, since 2007, and in particular since the development of the Global Network for Age-Friendly Citizen Communities, this guidance has been successfully implemented in more than 1,500 members from over 51 countries from around the world. And this network continues to grow and strengthen. Now, age-friendly citizen communities has been used, and it can be seen as a successful template, not because it provides a one-size-fits-all approach, but rather because they foster the abilities of older people and their families, while also enabling them to be an integral part of the decision-making process and of the implementation of the solutions that have been collectively decided. Later in today's event, you will hear from my fellow panelists, which are working hard to transform their realities. And these panelists are coming from communities, from cities, from networks of cities and communities, several of them already part of or in the process of joining the global network. If your community or city is not part of the global network, I do invite you to serve as an advocate to encourage them to join. Any city, community, or subnational level of government that is part of one of WHO member states can join. They can apply directly in French, Spanish, or French using the link that you just see in this slide. And it basically takes the commitment from the highest political authority, the use of a common methodology, which I've just mentioned, and the sharing, being an active member, inspiring others through the actions that you are doing in your age-friendly journey. Age-friendly cities and communities can also be seen as a template because we have now this global community speaking the same language, if you will, using the same framework to act, to intervene in their environments. And that facilitates a lot of support and exchange. On that note, I would like to highlight here that WHO has also a global database of age-friendly practices with over 700 concrete activities implemented by global network members. But not only, you do not necessarily need to be a member to submit your age-friendly practices, just so that people can get inspired by the great work that you're doing. And I would like to bring here just a snapshot, just some examples of what you could find on the global database. For instance, in La Plata, Argentina, we have a very interesting project called the Scenic Creations Workshop, which fosters the cultural activities in the city led by older people themselves, such as theater and radio. Another great example that you can find there is the one coming from Ennis age-friendly town, where you have a very interesting example of walkability audits, bringing together older people and urban planners, local planners, to assess the quality of the outdoor spaces and decide what to keep or what to change. Some people may think that to initiate this age-friendly journey requires a lot of resources, and this is far from true. In fact, my colleagues from PAHO, together with AARP and Help Age International, have developed a very, very interesting guide with some bright, low-cost, and easy-to-implement ideas, just so that even if you are in a resource-constrained setting, you can already initiate your age-friendly journey in transforming your community into a better place for everyone to age well. Now, while there's a lot that can be done with few resources, it is also true that having more resources and support can really make a difference. And also that support from communities should come across sectors and across levels of government. We have seen over the years that cities and communities that have the support of a national or subnational program tend to perform better. And here is again a concrete example coming from the Francophone network of age-friendly cities, the Réseau Francophone des Villes Amies des Années, which has a support fund mechanism for innovative senior territories. So they provide some seed funds for the communities to organize themselves, and then additional funds for them to implement the interventions to address the needs that have been collectively identified. In fact, national programs, they are one way for countries to accelerate the development of age-friendly cities and communities. And it's not by coincidence that the action plan of the UN Decade of Healthy Aging actually calls for every single member state to develop or strengthen their national programs for age-friendly cities and communities, because they will not only help countries to deliver on global global commitments, such as the UN Decade of Healthy Aging, the SDG agenda, and many others, but also because they allow inspiration and support for both rural and urban areas to be unlocked. And they can ultimately ensure that more people in that particular country or region can age with health, well-being, and dignity. In my last slides, I would just like to highlight that in fact, this year, WHO has just released a guide and a toolkit to support countries in developing their national programs. And this is now being translated into many languages, and it's being used to support this implementation in many countries across WHO regions. In that guide and in the accompanying toolkit, you will find a practical step-by-step framework covering planning, implementation, evaluation, and reflection on how to implement or strengthen such a program. There you also see detailed case studies from existing national programs, as well as key contacts and information for support. I do encourage you to have a look at the guide and the accompanying toolkit, as well as many other guidance materials in the QR codes that you see in this last slide. And I also encourage you to join the Global Network and to have a look at all the great work that members and affiliate programs of the Global Network are doing to ensure that we develop a world in which everyone can age well. With that,
Jack, you're muted.
I'm the one who should be saying unmute, and I'm the one who's muted. So in any event, I just want to say thank you, Tiago, for a very concise overview of Age Friendly. And for everybody on this call, I'm hoping that everybody can take something away from this entire session, so that you can implement something in your own community and city. The goal that we have is to have an additional number of communities and cities throughout the world join the Age-Friendly Cities and Community Network, whether it's taking one of the domains and the framework, the entire framework, or a portion of it. So we're hoping that your brain power and creativity will be sparked by this side event. So on that note, I'm going to introduce the mayor of Kochi, India, which we are so honored that he's agreed to be part of this, one of our presenters, because Kochi is kind of a star in age-friendly communities. They've adopted it as a part of the framework for their urban infrastructure situation, and we are grateful that the mayor has joined us today. The mayor, Anil Kumar, has devoted his life to public service. He's had more than 30 years experience in the public realm, starting at age 25. As currently, he's taken up the reins of city administration and has been the mayor for a few years now. He's been instrumental in making substantive change and institutional transformation through leadership and guidance. With his rich experience in local government systems and inclusive planning principles, he's committed to improving health, education, agriculture, and the livelihood of the people in the city, as well as promoting job creation and youth empowerment. He is committed to the age-friendly principles. Aside from his background as a lawyer, he had been a syndicate member of the Mahatma Gandhi University. He is the general council member of the Center of Indian Trade Unions and the leader of trade unions and public sector enterprises. He has a master in law from Cochin University, and he had a scholarship from the Ministry of Human Rights and in copyright law. You know, we're really honored that he's joining us today and will be making remarks. Can't wait to hear what he has to say. Mayor, would you be so kind as to take it away?
Thank you, Jack. It's so kind of you, and I am and me and the city is also honored to be part of this program. So greetings from the city of Kochi, which is in Kerala, which is in the southernmost tip of India. So I would say that why the city is so committed to building an age-friendly city, I would say that my state, Kerala, has its own history of when it comes to the sustainable development goals. Kerala has its own mark when it is compared with other states in India. See, on the sustainable development goals, I would say that Kerala is ranked first in the country. So we have our own history. Even economists have always been embarrassed as to how Kerala can be compared to any other state or country in Europe. Now, even our aging, when we consider the aging problems of Kerala, I would say that the life expectancy of Kerala can be compared to the life expectancy of the United States of America. So this is how the social development of Kerala index of Kerala stands. So as a result, Kerala has a fast aging population, and Kochi, as part of Kerala, also has these problems. The demographic shift of Kerala is happening because of the increased life expectancy of Kerala. So this means that 16.5% of the population in our place is above 60. And we believe that in 2030, it is going to be about 20%, and it is going to increase like that. So what we believe is that as a mayor, as a city administration, we feel that it is our duty and the responsibility of the administrators to see that the aging population is catered to. They are respected. Their life is also socially included because they have contributed to the development of the state. They have contributed to the development of the city. So that is why we feel that whatever we are doing, whatever development plans we are making should cater to the age-friendly city concept. So that is why we feel that the World Health Organization program that you should create age-friendly city is so important for us. See the cultural heritage of Kochi, the cultural heritage of India also connotes the notion that the World Health Organization has been promoting. It's not only the question of the sustainable development goals. Even when the United Nations has ever thought about a sustainable development goal, India has its own tradition of seeing that we tell in our motto, Mata Pita Guru Devo, which means mother, father, and your teacher is the God before you. So this is the heritage we hold so close to the heart. So that is why we believe that it is our responsibility to see that you create an age-friendly city before you. We have a program called the Vayo Mitram. I'm trying to bring out my experiences as a corporator, as a public servant. We have the program which is called the Vayo Mitram. Now, what is Vayo Mitram in Malayalam, which is the local language, which means age-friendly program. We started it way back in 2011. What does the Vayo Mitram program do? We have got local centers in all the 74 corporation divisions, represented by 74 corporators. So in all the 74 corporation divisions inside the city, you have a local center where a doctor goes, where a nurse goes. We make regular checkups, weekly checkups, so that the aging people can come there. They are given free medical checkups. They are given free medicines. We have been continuing this program for the last 10 years, 10, 12 years, we have been continuing it. And now we are trying to expand its ambit like anything, so that we can reach the unreached. So this is one of the important programs that we are doing. There is a socially inclusion program. There are counseling centers. And I would say that we also have developed, with the help of the local NGOs, we are doing a particular program wherein the corporators take these people as part of the tours, even to distant places. So all the aging people inside a locality, I know about my corporator, before I became the mayor, he used to take all these people taken together. They were in fact taken from the Cochin International Airport people who never have boarded an airplane. The corporation was so keen and kind to see that they all are there on the planes, they travel, they enjoy. So this is how the Vayomitram program has been slowly unfolding. Likewise, we have the collaboration with NGOs. We also have a dementia-friendly city. We have been continuing it for the last 2 or 3 years. Now, this is being done with the help of the Cochin University of Science and Technology. The name of the program is called Bodhi. Now, what is being done in Bodhi? We have been organizing regular checkups wherein people who are thrown to becoming dementia patients, we see to it that with this checkups, we can know who are the people who can become who can be thrown to dementia. So they are detected. Early detection camps are being conducted. Care is being given to them. Medicines are given to them. We take them to certain memory clinics. We have our general hospital which caters to these people. So this is how the dementia-friendly networks of our city is happening. The Chief Minister of Kerala recently declared that Kochi is going to be Kochi is the city, the first city that is the first dementia-friendly city in our state. So this is another program that we have been doing. We have the initiatives like the Senior Taxi Project, which ensures affordable and safe transportation for seniors, transcending political differences. Also, this is happening. That is why I was very thankful to Diageo, because he was also speaking about transportation networks also. We also have a key areas of focus, which include accessible infrastructure, social inclusion, and active participation. There are intergenerational activities. That is, the aging people are given a chance to learn more things. A person who was not used to using computers, they are given training to use computers. The skills are being parted to them. We have our open spaces also developed. The parks, the open spaces. We have the Art Space Kochi program, wherein the old age people can come to a particular place. They can see the cultural programs before them. We have the people who can enjoy their games in a particular park. You have the senior citizens forums, which is registered according to the law. It is being recognized by the government of Kerala. We in fact have a small program wherein on all the birthdays, the other members of this group go to their houses, give a small rose to them. The kind of happiness this gives to their families is also very important. So all the open spaces are used like this. We have our annual cultural fest that happens so that they can simply enjoy. A person who sings, he needn't stop singing just because he has attained the age of 60. He should sing more. He should dance more. He or she should dance more. So these are some of the public opportunities that are being given to these people. The health activities, the catering of the health activities. We have got 13 primary health centers which cater to the health and well-being of these people. Likewise, we have now identified 33 health and wellness centers. Again, you have the palliative centers, which gives palliative care to all these people. We have a program called Arigu, which means all the palliative people are brought together each year and they enjoy their companionship like anything. So this is how we always ensure that nobody is left behind and everybody is taken care of when we think of the city and the development of the city. And the policies and plans are developed through an aging lens to address the unique needs of older citizens. So whatever we do, we decide that we should see it from the aging lens of a particular person. Adequate budgets are committed to supporting the development of age-friendly city inside the city. And I feel that I am honored because I can also learn from the experiences, from the innovative practices that are happening elsewhere in other cities, in other countries. I take this opportunity like that. And I'm cutting short my presentation because of the constraints of time. But I believe that it is not a person like Anil Kumar. Since Anil Kumar is the mayor, this is not happening. It is continuing. It is an institution. My predecessor, she belonged to a different political party, but she was committed to developing an age-friendly city. And even he or she who is going to succeed me is going to in fact, continue the whole program. So I believe that the city will be committed. The budgets of the city will be committed to this program. The whole city is going to be committed. Why? Because I believe that only when a city can, in fact, address to the hopes of the people who are aging, can a city develop, a city can thrive, a city can actually develop. So I would cut short my presentation, reiterating my commitment, reiterating the city's commitment to see that we build an age-friendly city. And thank you for this great opportunity to hear from all of you, to learn from all your experiences. And thank you from the whole city of Kochi.
Mayor, those are inspiring remarks. We're really grateful to hear your perspective and your commitment and your opportunity to serve as a beacon and an opportunity for other countries and other localities to have that same enthusiasm to use the framework of age-friendly to improve the lives of not only older people, but of everyone. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to be moving on to our next amazing presenter, Professor Shuti Chang, who is the former Director General of Taiwan's Health Promotion Administration, which is under the Ministry of Health and Welfare, excuse me, and she is currently a professor of health policy in the National Yangming Chao Tung University. Importantly for us, she commissioned the first age-friendly city project in Taiwan in 2010 and has expanded it to numerous counties and cities in 2013. Taiwan has become the first nationwide implementation of age-friendly city initiatives in the world. She has a great perspective to offer us. Would you be so kind as to enlighten us even further and provide an additional enthusiasm?
Thank you, Jack, and good evening and good morning, good afternoon, dear colleagues. It's my honor and pleasure to share our journey of full coverage of age-friendly city initiative in all the counties and cities in Taiwan. How did I get involved and how did we start? All right, actually, I myself is a family physician, and I believe in prevention. I think prevention is better than trying to provide care to incurable diseases or to see a lot of disabilities. However, in 2008, when Taiwan was expecting our rapid aging, at that time, our politicians would like to express their goodwill on this issue by visiting older persons in long-term care facilities and promised that they would try to increase the number of beds so that older persons didn't need to worry if they get disabled, and they wanted to ease the burden of their family members, which was such a very negative message about aging. Whenever people talk about aging, they talk about disability and burden. So I think we need to find a solution, an answer to what to do about population aging. And so I looked at the internet and I saw the WHO guide to age-friendly cities, and it aimed at pursuing healthy aging by tackling the upstream determinants of ill health, such as physical environments, social environments, etc. So I would like to introduce it to Taiwan. And in 2009, when I attended our annual Healthy City Conference, and a lot of mayors received the award for doing a good job on Healthy Cities project, the host mayor complained to me that she didn't have a chance to do any pilot project in this regard. So I proposed to her that WHO has this age-friendly city initiative. You can see that as the second generation healthy city project. Would you like to try it? And she was very interested. But when she talked with her colleagues, they were so worried. They didn't know what is an age-friendly city, and they worried it would need a lot of budgets, a lot of constructions, and a lot of extra efforts. They were worried. So she invited me to their first committee meeting, and I showed them this WHO guide, as Tiago showed you, with 8 domains of policy options. So we said it could be used as a self-assessment guide for the city's current status and self-assessment tool for continuous monitoring and improvements. So you have the guide, you have the policy options, but what would be the priorities? Did they have to do everything just in one night or in 1 year? No, we need to set priorities, but how? So it's very important to engage older persons and the other stakeholders. We need to do the needs assessment not only on the city's current status, but also on older persons' perspectives. So we, together with a university, developed a questionnaire to look at older persons' views on the 8 domains. And also we encouraged local governments to have the focus group forums at as many as possible communities to have direct dialogue with the older persons. So then they did the dialogue. And from older persons' points of view, they raised 3 priorities to the government. First, they would like to have more even surface of the road so that they wouldn't fall while they walked around. Second, they would like the bus stop to have shelters and benches for them to wait for the bus. And also, they would like the restaurants to be more accessible, because restaurants are the very important places for family time. So the local government was their team were so happy to learn that these are their citizens' expectations, and they put these as the top priorities. And these are not difficult, and they didn't need to spend extra budget. The thing they need to do is to use the age lens to examine their current activities and policies, and to modify and improve them to become more age-friendly. So the WHO guide is to help them to use their budget more smartly, more wisely, and to add value to their money and time. They don't need to reinvent the wheel. So then with the success of the first city, we expanded it to more cities and counties, and some more mayors were interested, but still some were watching. So at that time, we also produced the aging map of Taiwan, showing different degrees of population aging of each county and city. And also we listed communities with highest proportion of aging population, which have become the super aged community with people aged 65 or more than 20%. So then this created a lot of discussions, and many journalists approached their mayors to ask, would you now try to also join the age-friendly city initiative, since our communities or our counties have been so old? Okay, so more and more were on board. Then we create incentives by providing grant, which is voluntary. They might apply for the grant. Each grant can afford for one full-time project coordinator, but they have to follow the WHO guide and our project requirements, to do needs assessment, to have a team, to have the letter of intent from the mayor, and to monitor their progress, etc. So more applied. And in addition, we have the annual performance review for local health departments, which is comprehensive. And we added age-friendly indicators into this review package. And we linked our overall subsidy for local governments with the performance. So eventually, actually, every county and city applied for the grant for project coordinator to help themselves do a better job in the overall performance review. And we also did promotion in magazines, inviting those mayors to have their photos and their best wishes for our older persons. And we listed their innovative projects in the magazines. And those mayors were very happy to share the magazines with their citizens to demonstrate their commitment to be friendlier to their people. And actually, not only older persons, but also their family members are very happy. And during COVID pandemic, because we have this whole of government, whole of society platform for communication and collaboration, actually, our local governments did a good job in pandemic response in terms of the teamwork, but also our older persons, they have developed better social connections, not only within their family, but also with the external social resources. So it's much easier for us to reach them. And we actually also have the older volunteers to help older persons and the governments and the hospitals, etc. So it's a stronger and more resilient society to deal with this pandemic. And currently, in addition to the government's effort, we advocated for silver GDP, silver economy. We encouraged age-friendly shops, age-friendly tourism, age-friendly banks, etc. And also we have some civil society delivering very strong voices for older persons, such as our Alliance of Older Persons Welfare. They advocated for better housing policies to combat ageism in terms of housing. And we have another very strong nonprofit foundation called the Foundation of Strong Generation. They wanted to replace the wording old with strong. So they called the baby boomers as the strong generation, and they advocated that the strong generation can be so strong to support our society, undergo the challenge of shortage of workforce due to our low fertility rate. We are facing serious shortage of workforce. They say our strong generation, if they can be healthy and strong enough, and if we combat ageism in workplaces, in employment, then we can have a stronger society. So we continue to become a more age-friendly society, and we need to work together, the government, the older persons, the civil society, the service providers, and the academia, all together, 5 fingers to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chu. I just want to note for everybody who's on the call, did you hear her enthusiasm and the practicality and the opportunities of implementing an age-friendly approach and a framework? What she's talking about is something that can be done with not so much a lot of resources, but with some. People and communities will make selections as to what works best for themselves. And this all becomes an opportunity to create community for older people, community for everyone. And as she properly noted, that in the age of COVID, it offers having an age-friendly age-friendly communities framework offers a little bit more flexibility, and people are aware of what their opportunities would be. Thank you so much, Dr. Chu. We really appreciate your remarks. And our final presentation that I'm so excited that we're going to be having is with Agnes, I never can say your name properly, Karayuku, who is an older woman living in the Kibera informal settlement in Nairobi, Kenya. She is one of those powerful community advocates that's put together the equivalent of an older persons association in the informal settlement of Kibera. And recently she learned about age-friendly cities and has the opportunity to show us from the very local level on how these things might be able to improve the quality of life for older people and for everyone in the communities that need it the most. We are really honored that you're with us today. Agnes, would you be so kind as to let us hear your presentation?
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this chance. My name is Agnes Kariuki. I'm 66 old. I live in Kibera. Kibera is one of the largest slums in Africa. And I have been in Kibera for the last 4 years. And I founded the Kibera Daycare Center for the older persons in 1989, having worked for various NGOs in Kibera and seeing how the older persons are suffering. So that's how I decided to form the Kibera Daycare Center for the older persons. Since we started, we have had a number of activities that we do in our center. And the most thing that we have been doing is advocating for the rights and the entitlement of the older persons in the local level and in the national level. The activities that we usually do in our center, we educate the older persons on how to read and write, and then because some of them are illiterate, they don't know how to read and write. The other thing that we usually do, we have home visits for the bedridden, and because of age and because of sickness. So when we go to them to see them, we give them moral support, and maybe whether we got food support, we give them. And we also, the other activity that we do in our center, we do muscle exercise sections which are geared towards the older persons. They are not heavy exercises, just light exercises now for their muscles to at least to be not to be stagnant, and at least they can feel the body is relaxed. The other activity that we usually do is that we have a small garden, so we plant some vegetables whereby now we use for the feeding program, because we feed them once a week when they come to the center. Apart from that, recently I had not known about the age-friendly cities, and recently this is when I heard about it. And going through its mission, I saw that there was need and to cooperate our society in Kibra and Kenya, whether we could now be part and parcel of the age-friendly cities initiative. And for learning more about it, I saw the framework, and with its many tools, mentoring support, it can help our older persons. So I was very much impressed to see, and now for in my country, whether we can now start off the age-friendly cities. In Kibera, an older person living in Kibera has many challenges, and I'm going to mention just a few of the challenges that the older person face the challenges in Kibera. One thing that the older person face is we have got social networks. We don't have a lot of networks where they can come and socialize with the others. There are just a few of them. And the other thing that which really the older persons are suffering from this is about the young ones, the young society. They don't really appreciate the older person's values or what the contribution that they can give to the society. So they ignore them. So they don't see if they can do something to them. So that is an area where now ageism is being, I always see that ageism, because they look at them as, because they are old, they cannot do anything. So that is one area where our young generation has to be trained about it. So the other thing is about is the health. Health is a very, 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 very scary issue in the slum, because they lack a number of health hygiene, so now contributing to the unsanitary living conditions, overcrowding, cultural diversity, unsafe housing, inadequate access to shelter, to water, food, and sanitation, where now they face a lot of challenges. Also, the poor infrastructure and lack of social amenities that is a barrier to the health and fulfilling of their lives. The other challenge that the older persons are facing also in Kibera is lack of open space where they can be going, they will be meeting, they meet with the others, they enjoy, they do a number of activities. So these spaces we don't have in Kibera. The few ones that we have are being given to the private developers. So the older persons they are not given the chance for these spaces. And where I advocate that these spaces should be given to the older person so that they can enjoy for maybe playing football, maybe playing small fans where they can enjoy. So in Kibera, this is an area where the older persons has been left out. The other thing is in meetings where they are supposed to give their own decision making and participate in meetings, be it in the local level or in the national level. They are not really allowed in the meeting to make decisions, whereby they see they are being left behind. And to us to me especially, I would say now they should be given that chance. If they go for a meeting, they are supposed to be given chances to speak and to also to make decisions, because you cannot do something for someone you have left behind. So I see there's need for our older persons in Kibera to give them that chance to participate and make their own decisions, and also to be respected in their own gatherings. The other thing is now the housing. Now, in Kibera, this is a slum area where it is not being upgraded. The houses are so congested. The older persons are living in one room with their children. So I would wish if that our government decides or proposes to upgrade the slum. Now I would wish now the slum to be constructed in a way that it is an age-friendly city, and the communities where now the older person can enjoy living in it. And also when they are being constructed, the payment could be also be affordable for now these older persons to be able to pay for whatever mortgage is being requested by the government, because the land is theirs. The other thing now also I see now they are being left behind. You know, now we are in the digital world, and the older persons, they are, most of the things they are being done with the digital technology. Although they have their phones, the phones they are not only used for calls and receiving calls. There are other things whereby they are supposed to know whether it is the government services, they can use the technology, because now everything is being done with the technology. So I was requesting whether we could have a class where now they can be taught and we now be able to be using the technology like the other people, and they enjoy the technology for and access all what they can do with the technology, which is now everything is in the technology. The other thing is now the mobility, how the roads are being constructed in the slum. For those who would wish to use the wheelchairs and the walkers, they cannot, because the roads we don't have footpaths for them. So I would wish if our government, when it comes to the construction of the roads, they can now they can construct pathways for good mobility for them to move around. The other thing is now our government, however, our government have started a cash transfer to all those who are 70 years, but unfortunately, not all the older persons who receive the cash. There are those who are being left behind because of one or two things. So I would request our government to make sure that those in need and those who are really in real poverty can also be included with the cash transfer, and also the amount is small. So I would wish our government whether it could now cooperate increase the amount, and at the same time include those who are not in the system. So
Now, Agnes, would you be able
yes.
be able to close your remarks so that we can,
Okay.
because we do have limited time.
Okay. I'm almost finishing, because as I was saying about the cash transfer, now that is a government initiative, but now we are pushing to it. So in conclusion to now, or I would rather say to the financial constraints to the poverty level in our country, there are those older persons who are homeless. They are unable to pay the rent to where they are sleeping. So I would think our government or any other relevant institution to come in to rescue our older person because of the level of poverty. So in conclusion to what I have already said, what is there in Kibera? It is also, the challenges are also in the other slums of Kenya. So I'm talking on behalf of all the slums in Kenya, because I know the challenges are the same. And if we can be given a chance, and for the age-friendly cities, which can be implemented in our country, I can see not only the older person who can benefit, even the residents of Kibera can also benefit. In conclusion, I can say, let us come together as a community, work hand in hand to advocate the rights and the well-being of the older persons. Let us prioritize their dignity, independence, and social inclusion. Together, we can make a difference and build a brighter future where every member of our community, regardless of wage, can thrive and live with the respect and the care they deserve. Because of the limited time, and I will give my email for those who would like to contact more about Kibera. Our email is kbgc2021@gmail.com. And also my telephone number is +7114 11 78 83. So for more information, if you'd like to know about Kibera, you can contact us and we can give more information because of time, because I could have given more and more challenges and more solutions where about the person can benefit. So thank you.
Thank you. Agnes, can you put your contact information into the chat with your email address, phone number, and whatever other information you would like? I wanted, even though we don't have that much time, I wanted to open this up to people if they have questions. Would you, if you have questions, please let us know, and we'll have the presenters address those issues. I'm really excited that we've been able to do this very worthwhile session. And I'm honored. The Stakeholder Group on Aging is honored that all of you have been able to join us. Let us see where we are with this. Are there any questions from the floor?
Jack, Alex has his hand up.
Say that again.
Alex Galach has his hand up for a question.
Okay, Alex, would you, can you give us your question?
Yes, thank you very much, Jack, and I apologize that something has happened with my electronic calendar. That's why I have not heard all the speakers together.
Oh, and Alex, before you go too further, I want everybody on the call to know exactly who you are. You are the guy that actually started the concept of Age Friendly back in 2005 or 4. So you guys, everybody has the pleasure of talking to the man.
Thank you very much. I was doing nothing but my duty. I was at the time the director of the WHO Aging and Life Course program, and worked with many of you around the table. In particular, I want to acknowledge the presence of Ina Volker, who was crucial in the run-up to that process. And yes, it was something that I could put together. More and more people would age, and more people with urbanization going global would age in cities, and cities were not prepared. It was very simple, and we started the project with 35 cities, did the study, and then it has grown and grown. And today I have the pleasure and the honor of seeing such a vibrant community around the table. But Jack, it's not as much a question, but it is a plea. And I have been repeating this often. I have seen very good examples of age-friendly cities. Most of them in the developed world, few of them in the developing world. We need to strengthen our capacity and the number of cities in the developing world, but also a message to those from the developed world. It's not age-friendly cities for people that are well off. What I would be delighted is to see more examples of age-friendly slums, shanty towns, in the periphery of big cities, where we had all the problems in Paris last week, in all the deprived areas of New York, where, Jack, you are. That is where and when I will be happy to retire, thinking that, yes, I have accomplished something meaningful.
Well,
Thank you.
Alex, and just so you know, that is precisely the reason that Agnes is here on this webinar, to address exactly that issue. So Agnes, would you make a response to Alex Kalache's comment?
Okay, thank you. What is really?
Yes, could you speak closer to the microphone? I had difficulties to hear you well before.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Speak a bit
Can you
louder
hear
if
me?
you could.
Can you hear me?
The question is, how can we get age-friendly frameworks into informal settlements and slums such as Kibera? How can we do that?
Okay, already we have existing older persons associations where older persons have come together. So that one is not an issue because already we have got a system where the older persons have already raised their questions. We have also worked with our government in the local level and in the national level. So it's not a big issue because we have already established ourselves in the slum, and they have really seen our struggle fighting for the rights of the older persons and the services and the challenges that they are facing and how they can be solved. So partnering with the government and other institutes, I think we can do better, being given the chance to initiate or to implement the age-friendly cities and communities.
So thank you very much, Agnes. And here's what I'm going to propose to you, Agnes, is that given your great ability to influence what goes on in your community, that you make a presentation to the community leaders and to the government in Kibera to evaluate and hopefully adopt some of the age-friendly framework. And I'm sure, Alex, you might be interested in assisting her.
I will do my best. Just get in touch with me. I will put my WhatsApp and my email also in the chat.
That would be really awesome. We have another question that says, when we are talking about social inclusion, and we also are planning for the well-being of older persons, I'm not sure what this says, being old age homes for old people with disability and their well-being. I don't understand the complete question. If you would explain it, and then we'll see if any of the presenters might be able to address that. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Who made that question? I'm not sure. If not, we'll just continue on. Are there others that have a question? I don't see many hands up. What we're hoping today is that they're going to, oh, Betsy, you have a question.
Yeah, Madam Sylvia Beals has a question.
And okay, let's start with Betsy and then we'll go to Sylvia.
Oh, thank you. I put a question in the chat, but it was so long ago. So thank you. Thank you all.
Just summarize it, please.
The question is this: are any of the is anyone here or any of the panelists affiliated with this international social housing movement? They also are. It's got some legs. I think I'm very impressed with what I saw, what I've found out, what I've seen firsthand. And it's also affiliated with the UN SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, number 11, and others.
So if there is
and there's
anybody who has any relationship to, was it social housing?
International Social Housing Festival. It's an
if-
international movement.
So
As
if
it's
please make, anybody, please put a comment into the chat and that Betsy will be able to take it from there.
Well, I did wonder if any of the speakers had any relationships, because there's room there for the age-friendly voice to be heard, but it would greatly amplify the issue of affordable housing and safe neighborhoods as being critical to an age-friendly city. And we all have to get involved in that, not just caregiver, I'll stop proselytizing. Yeah, International Social Housing Festival.
So I'm going to presume that Agnes has not heard of that, and I don't know about the others. Mayor, have you had any familiarity with the comment that Betsy made?
No, I am sorry that I haven't heard of this program, but her question proves a point that we have a social housing programs, but what I understand is that the issues of the aging should also be considered when you opt for a social housing. So I think it is a valid point for me to note in my future endeavors. Thank you for making this valid point, and I shall also try to study about what it is.
So
I'll put a link in chat. Thank you.
Dr. Chu said, thank you for providing this social housing research. Yes, the age-friendly ACF and it should collaborate.
Yes, indeed. Because for older persons living alone, some of them would like to move, and the social housing project provides a very good opportunity. However, as Betsy mentioned, perhaps they haven't thought about the unique needs of older persons. So social age-friendly housing will be hopefully helping a lot of older persons. When they move, when they are of lower income families, when they move, they can move to housing good for aging in place. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chu. We have a question from, first of all, we have a question from Somali Help Age, Muzamar. And then after that, we have a question from, there was someone else and I kind of lost who that person is. Anyway, Somali Help Age, could you give your brief question?
Yes, Jack, thank you very much for the hosting and all dignitaries who are attending this important Zoom. My question is that, and us and Somali Help Age, and which is the humanitarian and local NGOs based in Mogadishu, Somalia, as I've been advocating for the older aged people in Somalia, and Somalia has experienced for the decades of civil war and flood, hunger, tourism, all those kind of challenges. How age-friendly cities can be implemented such country who has and these numerous and crises and political uncertainties, and whereby even the government buildings and airport and seaports have no any mobility to ensure that older aged people have access, like hospitals, schools, and whatsoever. And to add to that, and as we have been advocating, and for the SDG 2, whereby everyone should get access to food, whereby almost 3 million people, Somali people, Somali older aged people are mostly scattered and everywhere as displaced, and how and age-friendly, cities and can be implemented like this kind of the older people who are living in displaced camps, and like those people in over and 500,000 older age people in Mogadishu, especially. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Omar. That perspective from Somalia is really helpful. It doesn't come up very often. Now, I'd like to ask Sylvia had a question, Sylvia Beals, and then after that we have Anju Saxena. So Sylvia, can you give us your question?
Okay, thanks. Well, actually, it was about, it was a question really about how we could connect the remarks made by Agnes, and I think now from Muse, and of course from the mayor of Kochi, about how we get these practical experiences of countries and communities where we don't think about how the elder people are necessarily living, because other things take precedent. I mean, older people, as Agnes explained, in a place like Kibera, are probably not very visible because they can't get about. And in fact, in where I live in London, if there isn't access to buses or safe travel on the tube, or people can't get about either. And we risk, unless we have active age-friendly policies, we risk making older people invisible as well as excluded. So I think it's really important that all these different efforts are made much more visible to us all. So I wondered whether an outcome of this excellent event could be that we put these examples together and we work with the WHO in our different ways to really focus on what is going on in the developing world, where older people are also increasing in numbers in the cities. And I think others would know that. So it's both it's really a question: how do we carry on this really important set of connections?
Sylvia, I just wanted to refer back to Tiago's initial presentation, where there is on the WHO site, and they are eager to work with communities in the global south, particularly in Africa, where there are no accredited age-friendly communities. And so, and Alex, I'm volunteering you to work with whomever it may be. So those are two important resources that can be accessed. We don't have much time, we've gone past time, but this is, to me at least, exciting. Anju, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question and I also had a query. It was about like when we are talking about national social housing societies, or when we are like, in our framework, we're thinking about it, social inclusion. So my point to be made here about people who are aging, but along with, that aging, they also have some kind of different abilities or disability also. So when we're talking about the social inclusion, can we think about some kind of, not old age home in exclusion, like not excluding in that way, but including old age homes which are disable friendly also, and which also not only looking at social inclusion, but also about the emotional well-being. So social emotional well-being also is very, very important, because if they are emotionally happy and if people are compassionate, caring about them, and with that kindness, but with the positivity, and not voluntarily, but as a natural instinct towards them. So that would be better. So if we can add on to that point, or maybe like think about that point also, we can make a society more inclusive. Yeah, socially inclusive.
Very much. And I think our final question will be from Michael, because he's had his hand up. And there, if you check on the chat, in the chat, there are other questions that we won't be able to reach today. Michael, would you please be so kind? Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Jack, for giving me this chance. Can you hear me?
Yes, just make your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to add that what we need is actually universal design in all aspects of age-friendly cities. What I've realized is that in Kenya, even the people who are doing architecture, this is a new phenomenon to them. Talking about age-friendly cities and universal design for buildings is it's like telling them a new story. And I think we need to have an all-out strategy where we let everyone involved, including the city managers, to understand what age-friendly cities are. Because you understand, look at the list of the age-friendly cities that are listed by WHO. There is none in Africa. So this is something we need to do so that we can also include the informal settlements and slums. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think we're going to have to close the session, despite that there's been, at least from my perspective, a very active engagement by everybody on the call. I want to say thank you to all of our fantastic presenters. I'd like to say thank you to Erica and Francis. I'd like to say thank you to Kathy Klein, who was instrumental in helping put together this panel. I'd like to say thank you to the interns and to everybody at Grey Panthers NYC. I'd like to say thank you to the stakeholder group on aging to allowing this to happen. And God bless everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.